Hello, everybody. Welcome to Sedona Unscripted Q&A. I don't know. I'm like, what am I even calling this event? I don't know. It's a Q&A. It's a casual Q&A with Mo and Kristin and Haley and Melissa. And now we have Mars, who's currently driving. So if you're tuning in later, we're recording this so that you can watch back. And please know that if you have any questions that come up and they still don't get answered during this hour, please reach out to any of us. Really, I know Melissa and Haley would be happy to chat with people about their experience one-on-one, but don't hesitate. I feel like the theme for tonight is going to be saying yes and choosing you to make it happen. And so I'm really excited that these ladies said yes to joining and sharing their story, because they definitely have some fabulous stories to share and a really cool journey through what was August in Sedona, Arizona. So my name's Margaret Smith. I go by Mo, and I want to go around and just have everybody introduce themselves and where you're at. And let's just see what you do. Kristin, why don't you go first? What you do, Melissa?
Okay. Hello, I'm Kristin Wise. I am a holistic coach and energy healer, and I live in Alaska, but right now I'm in Central New York.
Thank you.
Is that sufficient? Is that good?
That's sufficient, yes.
Okay.
All right, Butterfly Thistle, you want to go next? Because I just love saying that name, Butterfly.
I'm Melissa Weidling. I am currently in Bellingham, Washington. And what do I do? Right now, I currently rest.
Yes.
I went to Sedona and everything changed. And I am in pursuit of setting up an entirely new business and life. I've accepted some deep truths. And so the first step of that whole process and plan is to take a break and let my nervous system regulate. So I'm resting.
Love it. Haley?
Hello, I am Haley Anderson. I'm based out of Snohomish, Washington, and I am a realtor. That's what I do. I sell houses.
Love it. Thank you. And I'll just share for Mars. Mars has a number of things that she does. She lives, I think she lives in Mars. Oh my God.
I ran upstairs, connect the game computer. I'm good.
Oh my gosh. You want to introduce yourself?
Sure. Hi, I'm Mars. Is there certain questions I need to answer?
Where do you live and what do you do?
I live in Lake Stevens, Washington, and I am a relationship business builder.
I love that.
So I find out about your business, who your avatar is, and I don't want to say generate leads, but I create relationships. I build relationships with people that are strategic to your business, and I build a community and a Rolodex of people for you.
I pretty much does it perfectly. Yeah. All right. Thank you, guys. So the agenda tonight is really loose. It's really, I know Mars had some general questions about the retreats and specifically the money piece, but I've also had other people reach out to me, and I think they're tentative to even come to the event because the idea of it kind of freaks them out. Like, I can't even approach the money piece. And so just to give people who are watching a general description of what these retreats are about, and Kristin, please pipe in here too. This has become a partnership and collaboration between Kristin Wise and I, because this first retreat that I did in Sedona this last August was really a trial of I've done retreats for about 5 years, but I had never done one that was truly everything that I wanted it to be, outside of my old job and what I used to do. And what that meant was incorporating more of the holistic healing spiritual part of it that has added so much and changed my life completely. And so these retreats are really now going to be a 4-day experience in a location that we feel like is luxurious and magical and fun and totally outside of where most of you might live. Some people might live in New York or Sedona, Arizona, nearby, but we want to take you out of your setting and bring you into a different place so that you have an opportunity to, what I like to call them as a pattern interrupt. So interrupt what you do day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out, in whatever role you might have in life with your family and with your professional life, and give you a chance to kind of stop and say, okay, is what I'm doing what I really want to be doing What do I need to do to continue to heal? And so after going through this first retreat with Kristin, it really gave us a great opportunity to see, okay, how do we work together? How do we complement each other? Because we felt like we complemented each other really well. And that was just confirmed time and time again. And so then afterwards I said, okay, Kristin, I want to do this with you because it just makes a lot of sense with our different skill sets. Kristin, what would you add to that about more about the experience maybe?
Yeah, I would say it also helps you step into thinking bigger and to, if you're someone who is familiar with words like quantum leaping and things like that, this is of that vein of, you really get to step into a totally different reality and really try on what your dreams look like in person. And it's kind of fantastic. And I will say, it was such an honor to be asked to go to the Unscripted retreat, and it completely changed me in a lot of ways as well. One of them being that I decided right then and there with these two women who you're about to hear their story. Let me just tell you, those were two of the most powerful energy healings I've ever done in my entire life, and so transformative and so wonderful, like truly fulfilling, deeply fulfilling to watch this transformation to a point that I said on the last day of Sedona, I said, I will never do an energy healing virtually again. I will only do them in person because of how incredible it was. It was, I've done a lot more in person since then. And I tell you what, it just keeps getting more and more almost supernatural in a way, but not scary. It's just, it's out of this world kind of experience. So, getting the pleasure to do those energy healings just transformed me as well as them. And it was a really beautiful experience. So I will say that that's really something I wanted to add. And the food. Let's talk about the food. Oh my. Okay, right. And you might be sitting there being like, okay, that's pretty big investment to make for food. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. Trust me. Haley can even tell you there was a point in time where she even said during the retreat, she goes, this is like the best thing in the entire world. Like, I have never experienced anything like this food. So if you're a foodie,
and who was it? I think it was Jess Williams who said, I've never had such healthy poops. And I was like, wow, can I quote that? He's like, he called them Oprah poops. I was like, what? She has a kind of poop? But it's because the food is all fresh. It's all organic. She's selective down to the types of eggs she had. She got me duck eggs because I couldn't have chicken eggs. Like, she's so detailed. And that just shows also the level of intention that both I and Kristin put into this event. Everything is extremely intentional. And I have learned the power of intention is literally what creates your life. So how you go into this event is exactly how you'll come out of it. So exactly what Kristin said, that both Haley and Melissa came in with very clear intentions. And I think honestly, part of this had to do with the money piece. The fact that you ladies had to take that leap and you had to say yes, not knowing how you were going to make it happen, set the intention that you were all in. And when you come in all in and open, then this can be whatever kind of transformation you want. And so I think I like to call this like a transformational retreat, because people are like, my friend Jared said, I just want to know what the agenda was. Like, can you give me the agenda? I'm like, I'll tell you all the things. But we go day by day based on, Kristin and I plan out, okay, when is the breakthrough coaching session going to be for Melissa? Should it be before her energy healing, afterwards? Because those are the two main sessions that you have. You have a breakthrough session with me, that's 2 hours. And then the energy healing with Kristin, that's up to 2 hours. And so we go through each day and we plan it according to, like, Kristin's, as soon as you say yes to the retreat, Kristin starts to get visions in her head of what she's going to do with you and where it's going to be. And so we plan according to our intuition and what we feel is right. And then I also usually bring in speakers, and I didn't do that as much. Like, usually I have a really like a keynote main speaker. And this time I didn't feel like I needed to bring in a keynote, but I did want to bring in some additional people. And that's where I brought in Demir, who came and did a heart chakra opening experience with us. And Kristin does totally.
Don't even get me started on Demir. Like, oh my God. Okay, the food. I mean, like, I can't stop talking about it. Anyway, keep going. Yes.
And then while he was there, towards the end of it, he was like, I feel called to offer you guys a sound healing. Would you be okay if I came back on Sunday and did that? And I looked at him and I was like, you think I'm going to say no? Like, oh my God. So, and on top of him, I also found another guy named Seth, who's an angel communicator. And so that was the flow of the event. I tried to keep it a bit more open than I have previous retreats, because otherwise I will pack things in. And part of this process is really giving you an opportunity to slow down. So I wanted to give at least a brief review of the experience of it. You can go for the more in-depth review to my YouTube channel and check out, I did a 2-part video that shares even more in depth what happened. But for those of you that have no idea, like I know Alexandra, who is going to be on the call tonight, I don't know that she has any idea what it was all about. I wanted to give a bit of an overview. And then before we move forward, Mars, were there any specific questions that you had that you want to make sure that we address? I just want to give you a chance in case there's something specific.
No, nothing specific. In fact, you actually kind of addressed it about like the agenda and then what that looks like from start to finish. So that was really like what I wanted to know.
Okay, cool. Okay, perfect. Yeah, usually, because what we did and basically what will happen this next time is we added an additional day based on some feedback from the attendees. We realized, okay, there was just not quite enough time. And so we get there on a Thursday evening. So you travel Thursday and you have Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday now, and then Tuesday fly back. And then those days we're pretty much going from whatever time you want to get up. Breakfast is available until like 9ish, and then we're going from 9 till dinner time. And then we might even have an evening yoga, but nothing usually scheduled after 10 p.m. But there's lots of breaks in between. So it's like, you have breakfast, then maybe an hour break, and then Demir would come, and then we have lunch, and then somebody will have a breakthrough session while 2 other people will rest. So it's plenty of rest and time between things like that. All right, Melissa, let's jump into Melissa's story first.
Okay, here we go.
So Melissa, let's start by, I first invited you in June, I believe it was, because I think I did a bunch of individual invites and I didn't actually post anything publicly, but I messaged you and I remember I emailed you and I said, hey, Melissa, I really think you're supposed to be in Sedona. And you were like, Margaret, I can't do it.
Yeah, I remember feeling like, God, I'm so excited and so proud that she's doing this, because I'd been to several of your admin retreats and they've had such impact on me. So this was like the next level of that, because it's dropping the title and going straight to just me as a person, as a human being, as a spiritual being, and that was a different level.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I definitely got that email and I was like, holy crap, this is so exciting. And then I looked at the price tag and I was like, wow, I can't wait until the day that I can afford this and support Margaret in this way. And because I really just couldn't imagine where I would get that kind of money. Kind of couldn't imagine spending that kind of money on myself. Mm-hmm. And so my brain just went like that. I just kind of was like, oh, that's awesome. And someday, yes.
Yeah.
That was about it until, I don't know, when was it? Late July? A few weeks.
I think it was late July.
A mere 3 weeks before the retreat.
I think it was, I think I kept you on the radar. So when people say no, obviously I don't push and I don't manipulate. That's not the way that I sell. But when I feel like someone's supposed to be there, I will just touch base with them. And so I said to Melissa, hey, Melissa, Kristin's going to be in town this week. We would love to have lunch with you and talk about the retreat. And she was like, well, we can have lunch. Yes. And then the whole way down to lunch, Melissa was reciting how she was going to say no to us.
Yeah.
Like, this is no, I just have to say no again, guys. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, I was absolutely prepared. And for context, I have a little bit of a relationship already developed with both of these ladies. And so I see them and I'm in a state of absolute, utter burnout and have been so depressed and really have pulled back at this point from interacting in a meaningful way with people. Like I just felt like everything had become so much that I had to check out just a little bit, and after a while of that, it really starts to take a toll and you don't realize it. Right. And so then you see people who are, a mirror for you and you remember a bit of who you are. And it's like that quote that says, we all have reason to thank those who have relit that fire in us. And that's what I feel like happened. I saw these two girls and immediately I'm sobbing, because the topics that we talk about, the things that we work on in this arena, that's to me what real life is about. This other stuff is what we have to do to be able to afford, because of the system we live in, all of the things that we need, right? But this is what the real work, what we're really here to learn, is to evolve and grow and be the best version of ourselves, and, you know, not miss something big on our one trip around in this awareness, you know? And so, yeah, it was a tremendous conversation that I had with the two of them, and an opportunity to be seen. Just somebody saying, you deserve this. Not only do you deserve this, but what does it look like if you don't invest in yourself? And and then there is a little bit of magic to both of these ladies. And so when Mo looked at me and said, Melissa, what if we came up with a different way for you to pay? What if you fundraised? What if you did this? And there's just this spark, this light, this possibility that I hadn't even considered. And she says to me, will you just say yes?
I think that was Kristin. I think Kristin was like,
one of them, yeah.
It was both of us probably.
I can't not say yes. I mean, and I didn't know how I was going to make it happen. And but I knew that I couldn't not let it happen also. So, Mo, what was next? I think I had a call with you and we kind of brainstormed some thoughts, and
I think I said, let's set up a Zoom call to start just thinking outside the box. Like, rather than thinking this money has to come directly from my business, because she's a transaction coordinator in real estate at the time. She had her own company. And so she was thinking, like, how many deals am I going to have to do? I don't have that savings for this. And I said, let's have a call and just brainstorm, because when you start to talk about it and put it out there, that's part of the manifestation process. So I think it was before that call, you had a call with your brother and you were sharing that you really wanted to go on this trip.
Right. And before I knew it, he had Venmo'd me $2,000 just out of the blue. He didn't ask me if I would take it. He just sent it. And okay, let's just be real. That's miraculous. I said yes. And within days, $2,000 came to me without me really, I had no intention of asking him for money. It was just,
that was not something he'd never done that for you before. It's not like that was a normal thing for him to do. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. And it was enough of like a wow. Okay. That's an incredible synchronicity to help me keep going. And so, you know, I gave a lot of thought to the fact that I am supporting these real estate agents in a way that is intimate, necessary, valuable, devoted. Like my degree of loyalty to them is so high. And I have really good relationships with these people who I know also want to see me grow, because I've been in business with them and I understand, like, we've got this rapport. And I thought, I mean, honestly, like, it made me cringe. It super made me cringe to think about asking people for money.
Just so you know, and this is the part, whenever I suggest this to people, they all cringe. There's like, I'm just not ready to step into that place yet.
Right.
And I love talking about this piece of it, because asking for help, it's not easy. And it's also part of the journey of what we're supposed to learn. We're supposed to learn to ask, we're supposed to, in human communities, as communities, give and receive. Yeah. And as a person who used to never receive, I realized that was what I was lacking in terms of being more abundant. And so in these previous retreats that I had done that Melissa mentioned, I got really used to asking for money because I had to go after sponsorship. And so I said, Melissa, let's think of this like a sponsorship idea. What if you wrote to your top 10 real estate agents and asked if they would be interested in sponsoring you, kind of as they would an employee, anywhere from $500 to $1,000? And she was like, okay. So we came up with an email template when we met, and then you started sending out the emails.
Yeah. And I think I asked a total of 9 people, and I think 6 gave.
Mhm.
And beyond that, I mean, it ranged from $200 to $700 that people gave me. And I think I threw in for my airline ticket
Mhm.
and maybe a few $100s more than that. But for the most part, that paid for the trip. And I will go back to now I'm not doing that business any longer. And, there was a little bit of a thing for me with that. Like, I went to Sedona and had such a huge shift and transformation that I am moving into a whole different direction. And so there were some feelings for me about, oh my God, these people have just invested in me.
Mhm.
And here I am now going to, not be serving them any longer. But there's so much more to that story. Like, yes, I can hold on to that piece, but I can also remember that I've been pouring into these people for years. And this was an opportunity for them to show gratitude for me,
Mhm.
and for me to discover some sense of worth by asking for help, some sense of confidence by seeing people respond to that, and remembering that I matter to these people. They want for me what I want for me.
Mhm.
And when you can get out of your own head enough to not be in your own way, incredible things can start happening.
Mhm.
Yeah, I could
I
go
thought that was
on and on and on
such
for
a good
days.
example of how it was up until the last day before we left. So, because I think we talked to you like 3 weeks before the retreat, and so you were bringing in money up until you sent me the last payment the day before we left.
Yeah,
But you got all of it.
yeah. And it was incredible. And it was one of the hardest, best things that I've done for myself, is taking that leap of faith. And ultimately what it boils down to is letting go of what other people think of me,
Mhm.
because I'm working with real estate agents who are constantly asking other people for help and for business and for leads and for this and for that. And they're making great commissions.
Mhm.
And, my fee at that time was a fraction of a percentage of their commissions. So it really was not about anything other than me going, okay, if they're going to judge me about asking this, they're going to judge me, but I'm probably never going to know about it. And really just
And I
taking the
think I
risk.
told you too that compared to when I asked for sponsorship for the retreats, I had to ask, I think I figured out like 45 different parties for sponsorship to get $5,000. You
Mhm.
asked 9 people and 6 of them said yes. Your return on investment was like 50% plus. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
pretty good, right? Pretty good
Yeah.
conversion rate.
A good conversion rate for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So
And
I love
I
that
will
story
also
because
say that people gave joyously. Like, I was shocked. And people were like so excited that there was something that they could do to thank me.
Yeah,
And that was a
yeah.
really nice feeling too, because it helped me remember that sometimes when we choose not to ask for help, we're denying others an opportunity to
Yeah.
do something for us that they wouldn't have known they could do.
Mhm.
It's just another perspective.
Yeah. No, I love that story so much. It reminds me very much of when one of my aunts from my mom's family got sick. She was the aunt that was always there for all of us. She didn't have kids, doesn't have kids. And my mom had 6 siblings total, 6 of them all together. And they all had kids. Everybody else did. And she was always the go-to aunt, like the one that was there when we didn't have, when mom and dad had to do something, she would come get me. And then when she got sick, she wouldn't let any of us help her. And I got so angry. And I said, after all of these years, I'm now in my 30s. Why will you not let me help you?
Mm-hmm.
And it really shifted my perspective into, oh, this is what it feels like when people are trying to help me and I say no. And I think I talk to a lot of moms and a lot of parents in general that have people that have kids who have all of this immense guilt around picking themselves. And so I'm realizing that this is a big part also of this journey with this retreat, is helping so many people learn that if they choose themselves, they're teaching their kids one of the best lessons. And so I love your story, Melissa, because you went out on a limb in so many different ways. And one of those ways was asking for help from a number of different people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Epic story. All right, Haley. Haley Anderson, you're up. Right. Haley
Okay.
Anderson said no, but I have to say, she said yes first, right away. She filled out
Yeah.
the form before she had the money. She like, I was like, oh, Haley's coming. But you had filled it out and then you texted me and you said, okay, I'm coming. I don't know how, but I filled out the form already. So
Mhm.
I love that you put the intention out there right away. And then you said, yes, I'm coming. But then it went back to no. And then we met for coffee and it was back to yes. So share with people kind of what your thinking was on why did you say yes right away?
It sounded like a really good opportunity to do something for myself. And I hadn't done anything for myself in a really long time. And I was feeling really, kind of like Melissa, like really burned out with work and felt like I didn't have any direction in life on where I was going or what I wanted to do. And I felt like my entire identity was just centered around my work and like trying to be a good daughter and a good girlfriend, and I kind of lost like what does Haley want to do and who is Haley, and I felt like I was just operating out of a place of what everyone else wanted me to do. And kind of like you said, Mo, it was an opportunity to kind of hit the reset button and get into a new environment where I could kind of wake up to what I wanted to do and who I wanted to be. So that was why I said yes initially. And then I switched over to no because my boyfriend and I are currently in the middle of a massive home renovation that we are dumping money into. And I didn't feel like I felt like it wasn't fair for me to spend money on myself when we are in the middle of such a massive project. I felt like I would be, taking away from this collaborative effort that my family and I have been working on for over a year. And I felt like I was being really selfish and slowing everyone else down by saying yes to this. And then Mo and Kristin kept reaching out and kept saying, we feel like you're supposed to be here. Like, we feel like you're supposed to be here. And, like, you need to come. So then I said, okay. Well, after I met with Mo, I said, okay, well, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I guess we'll figure this out. So